Okay, hello Harrisburg. You just tuned into the Spicy Slice of Life. I'm your host, Alex Atwood, and today we have two special guests. Please introduce yourselves.
Good morning. I'm Fire Chief Brian Enderline.
Cool.
Good morning. I'm firefighter Shakur Hakeem Ale.
Cool. You guys look a little tense today.
Tense? Are you kidding me?
No. We run through burning buildings. Never that.
Cool. Okay. Here's our first question. So, at what age did you guys decide to become firefighters?
Go ahead, El.
For me, it was the age of 24. But I didn't become a fireman to the age of 30. So I've been a career fireman with the city of Harrisburg now for 17 years.
Wow,
Yes.
that's a long time. How about you?
I got involved when I was a young kid hanging out at the fire station, and when I turned 16 in 1989 is when I got involved. I got involved in the city of Harrisburg in 1994 as a volunteer, and then in 2000 I got hired as a career firefighter.
Wow, that's a long time.
It was
Yes.
probably a little before you were born, right?
A little bit.
A little bit. Why, you haven't thoughts of it?
Yeah, I've had some thoughts of being a firefighter.
Yeah,
Thought it was always pretty cool.
it is cool.
So, what kind of training does it take to become a firefighter?
Do you mean, well, as far as to come onto the job, or as far as just getting involved in firefighting alone, I guess? Which aspects? I don't know if I'm understanding your question correctly.
So, to get involved in firefighting.
Well, in the volunteer world, I probably had to let the chief answer more of that, because there were different programs he took on at a younger age. For when I came on, I actually came into the city of Harrisburg as a career fireman. Went through HAC, was our training facility. We had firefighter 1, firefighter 2 skill set trainings that we had to take. We also had to take EMT classes. Then once completion and graduating from HAC, and once we got on the job, we actually still had a lot more on training that we had to do while we were in our probation stage. So it's a lot, but it's nothing to complain about because you understand that this is your career. You understand that it's your livelihood, your life's on the line, your partner's life's on the line, and then you're doing something for the citizens of Harrisburg, or also the visitors of Harrisburg. So you need to better yourself. You know, you meet people at the worst time in their life sometimes, so you want to try to do your best that you're capable of helping them out in life, if that's the case. So, there's a lot to it, but there's always training all the time. It's intense, but if you gotta have an adrenaline rush, you want to enjoy it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So, what about you? What kind of training did you have to go through?
I think to look at training for a firefighter in general, what we live by is you can never train enough for a job that can kill you. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, fire can take your life in a half a heartbeat. So whether that's for a citizen or for a firefighter, you can never train enough for that job. So when I was a volunteer, there wasn't a lot of standards to live by. In some instances, back prior to a lot of the standards and things that came out to guide training, you could literally sign up to be a firefighter one day and be on the fire truck the next with absolutely no training at all. And we've progressed that, as firefighter L said that, everybody has to have firefighter 1, firefighter 2. So there's a lot of basic training, kind of like going in the military. It's the basic training for the firefighter. But then once you come out of the academy, there's a lot of technical things. So you're not going to learn how to, say, rescue somebody out of a trench or a confined space. A construction worker gets stuck down in a sewer. Well, they don't teach you that at the fire academy. That's a specialized class. So it's a constant training evolution that we have to do. And so every day that our firefighters are working, they're doing something that's training related to either keep their skills proficient or to build new skills.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes, mentally and physically. Yeah. Different techniques. You know, just like when you went to school, there's always something new happening every day, every month, and every year.
Wow.
So, hmm
So you talked about rescuing somebody out of a sewer. That leads to our next question. So, what do firefighters do other than put out fires?
and save cats from trees. Oh wow. Okay. Well, aspect everyone thinks fireman, firefighter, fighting fires. Chief spoke about trench, confined space, rope. We on the river, you know, some water rescuing, swimming. Man, there's my favorite. My prime. I say, I like part of outside fight fire is trench. Trench. I like rope. I like rappelling. There is multiple different training skills. You know that you wouldn't say that we do everything. We like the Marines for real, for real. There's nothing that we don't do. You name it, whatever problem you have, you know, we even come to your house do some concrete work if needed be. That kind of simple stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys do a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the general public believes that unless something's on fire, the fire department doesn't respond. And that may have been true 50 years ago, but the fire and emergency services, fire departments specifically, have become what we consider an all hazards rescue, fire and rescue agency. So when you look at things, the water rescue, the trench rescues, the high angle rescues, those types of things. But there's also the other things that we do now. If somebody goes into cardiac arrest, we also go on medical calls. So because of the way we have our stations staffed across the city, sometimes we're there before the ambulance and make a difference in bringing somebody back to life with an AED and CPR. So that's something that the fire departments of yesterday never had done. And that's something that we've evolved into to do those types of things. Vehicle accidents. Up until 1999 or 2000, the fire department didn't even respond on vehicle accidents unless somebody was trapped. And now we go on vehicle accidents on nearly a daily basis. So it's those types of things. Odors of different odors inside of a home. If somebody can't figure out what it is, well, you're not going to call the doctor, you're not going to call the lawyer, you're not going to call the ambulance, so you call the fire department. So we go and investigate those types of things and try and figure out and help the resident to figure out what they got going on in their home. A hot water heater breaks and there's water going all over the place. We go in and help secure the water and maybe put some tarps down to protect their valuables and things like that. So there's a lot of things that go on where the news doesn't show up, so the public doesn't really know what we're doing. And water rescues, obviously in Harrisburg with the river, and we have some localized flooding on rain events. That's a big issue as well. So our guys are all trained in water rescue and not just driving a boat around, but actually performing rescues in places like the Dock Street Dam. Our guys were just in Delaware County 2 days ago during the hurricane to assist their swift water rescue teams in doing some rescues down there. So there's a lot more to it anymore than just going to a fire.
Wow.
Everything.
So how many calls do you guys get per day?
You just read my mind because I'm thinking he's going to ask how many calls do we go on. So on a daily basis, it's very tough to say, but because it varies so much. One day we could have literally no calls at all, and the next day in an 8-hour period you could have 15 or 20. So it varies day by day, depends on weather. If we're having a storm or snowstorm, a lot more calls just because things happen in stormy weather. But overall, on an annual basis, we do about 2,700 calls for service every year. So that's both in the city, and then we also respond mutual aid out. So around 2,700 per year.
Wow. So what kind of tools do you use on a daily basis?
Well, each apparatus has designated tools for instance, like for me uptown, I work on Wagon 3 uptown. So I work on a, some say pumper, some say wagon, some say engine. So our crew has the water. So we have a 500-gallon tank on our vehicle. We are, our, excuse me, our purpose is to connect to the fire hydrant. We're 3 on a rig. So we have a driver, we have someone up front, and we have someone in the rear. So then our vehicle also does vehicle extrication. So we have a portable amicus tool, which will help us, vehicle accidents. So then you actually, beside us, we have a tiller truck, and our tiller is our ladder crew. They're supplied with different ropes, other different pieces. So every rig that's in the city may carry something extra than the other piece. And then we also have a rescue truck too, if we get stuff that's out of hand that we need to have our crew bring in our heavy equipment, vehicle type stuff to do trenches or confined space. So, but for us uptown on Wagon 3, our job is to try to put the fire out. Not try, but put the fire out.
Look a little sweaty.
Oh,
Want to drink some water?
I'm nervous. No, I'm
Don't
good.
be. You guys want to drink some water?
No,
Like,
I'm
free
fine.
to drink water. Okay.
No, I need a towel. Makeup.
Would you say that you have a dangerous job?
That's a double-edged sword.
I don't know if I think like that no more. If you don't mind. When I came into the career, but that's why you train. I said, fear. You know who you're dealing with. So you train, you prepare. It can be dangerous, but I don't look at it like that. I don't know if that's weird, but I don't. I don't look at it as dangerous.
Would you say that you have a difficult job?
No, that one I will say, yeah. Yeah, I will go with difficult.
I would say that too.
Yeah, difficult. But
How long does it usually take to put out a fire?
Oof. It depends on how bad the fire is. Depends on where the fire is located in the building. Depends on how much of the building is burning. So we can literally go in and have a kitchen fire under control in, say 5 minutes or less. But you might get a fire that is deep-seated in the walls and ceilings and extend into multiple buildings, and it might take an hour or two to be able to get control of it. So it just depends on, fire dynamics plays and that's some of the training that we look at, when from building construction. Is it in a brick building with wood joists, or is it in an all steel building, steel and concrete building, kind of like we're in today doing this interview? So is there a fire protection system? Isn't there a fire protection? So there's a lot of things that goes into it. So 5 minutes, you can have a good knock on a fire pretty quick on a just basic, simple kitchen fire, or if it's well involved, it could be a couple of hours until we get full control of it.
So, what's the worst fire that you guys have ever seen during your career?
oh man, you want to talk about that?
From the residents' perspective, I think any fire that we go to is bad. When we're called out, for us, it's a job, right? It's our calling, it's what we do, and it's what we get paid to do. So it's an event for us, but it's not it's just a normal day's work. But for the citizen that we're going to help, it is probably the most significant event that's happening or going to happen in their lives. And so, when you look at it, any fire is a significant event for the residents. The ones when you start to have injuries, and whether that's to a firefighter or to a resident, and even worse than that, when you go on a fatal fire, it totally changes the mood of the firefighters. It totally changes the mood of the community, and when we look at a fatal fire, and I don't want to point any out because in 20-some years I've been on too many fatal fires where people, have died. We lost one of our own firefighters in a vehicle accident going to a fire in 2017, and those are the ones that just stick with you, and that's the backside of the job that nobody really sees. And when we specifically look at fire deaths, where a child or an adult dies in a fire, firefighters really take the blame for that because it's just the way that we're built. We're there to fix a problem, and when somebody's died, we believe that we failed and didn't fix the problem. So psychologically, that becomes those things build up in you, and it really affects firefighters in a negative way, quite honestly. I think that to put one fire would be a disservice to the other people that I've seen on their worst day. So any fire where somebody dies is tragic. And some of the other things that tug at you as a firefighter, folks that can't afford insurance and they own a home, and they have a home that somewhere where they can call, it's their place, right? And it's destroyed by fire and they have no insurance, and then they're kind of stuck. Those are always tough. When you watch a mother or a grandmother that cries because they lost photographs of somebody that they loved, maybe a husband that passed away or something like that. The only thing that they had was a couple of photos, and now those photos are destroyed by the fire. Those are all significant events for everybody.
It hurts a little bit as he's speaking because he's telling the truth. Is the difficulty you ask, the emotions, and he's correct. You can't pinpoint what was the worst day of your day at your career here at the job. It's in the back of your head. You try to do the best that you can do to try to block it. Counseling helps. Talking about it helps. You don't want to carry stuff, but you want to have an understanding. And for me, I guess I'm getting to that stage where I'm becoming a senior man. Mm-hmm. So I look at it as a duty for myself when a younger firefighter has an episode to go speak to them, give them what happened to me, maybe do that, what's that called, that Monday morning quarterback. You do all that, as what the chief said. You play all that out in your mind. But you got to talk to the younger staff to help them get through something emotional. Because he's right. You can't pick one fire over another fire, which may hurt you because you'll be disrespecting the other residents in the city of Harrisburg. But as a whole, you have to try to do your best to, what's the word I want to use? You want to do your best to try to make everyone as comfortable as possible as you can do. So, yeah, that's the topic, brother. That's a topic. Yeah.
So what do you guys think is the easiest way to prevent a fire?
I'll take the easy way out on that one. When you look at our high-rise buildings, a sprinkler system, a fire sprinkler system is a number one way that's going to protect people.
Smoke detectors.
But the cheapest and most efficient working smoke alarms. And we go out and install them nearly on I don't want to say a daily basis. Weekly, we're installing smoke alarms in somebody's house. So that is a surefire way to protect you and your family. So we install them for free, and you get to, as Elle will tell you, when you're out installing them, you get to meet a lot of cool people that live in our city too. So
yeah, education also. I like how we do have a junior fire setter program. We have programs where we go into the schools and talk to the children. We educate. So even if we go into the homes where the elderly live, you educate. You point out different things that could be a hazard. Different things that could help save property from being damaged, lives that could be lost. So education's one.
Well, thank you for being on our show.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I think that's going to wrap us up for today.
Nah, that's too soon. Tell us what you want to do. You're thinking about, you need to come over and visit with us. You need to come to one of the fire stations and, visit the firehouse, have breakfast, have dinner.
Do a fireside chat in the fire station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what the life is of a firefighter is like in the city of Harrisburg. And that'd be an educational piece, not just for yourself, but also for your viewers. Your watchers can understand what we go through. Maybe ride on a fire truck, experience. Feel that in your heart. Like, man, this is all right.
That'd be awesome.
Like the community you grew up in, the accomplishment of giving back to the community you grew up in. You get to see everybody that you grew up with. Get out, talk to them. Educate. It's a proud accomplishment. Yes. So you got to come up one day. Bring the cameras. The crew, come on up. You can have breakfast. Most of the best chefs are at the fire station too.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, though, I think we're running out of time today.
Okay.
So, this has been the Spicy Slice of Life. I'm your host, Alex Atwood, and for more information on firefighting, visit Squad 1, Squad 2, or Squad 8 on Facebook, or visit harrisburgpa.gov for more information. And that's our show.